Hare Krishna. Let us take the blessings from Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Mai ki jai. Nitai Chaitanya ki jai. Parshuram Bhagwan ki jai. Vaman Dev ki jai. Panch Tattva ki jai. Giri Govardhan ki jai. Let's do the prayers. Om Ajnanati Mirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are doing chapter number 2, shloka number 51. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchantya namayam. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. So first, let's try to understand the basic meaning of the verse here. So, karmajam buddhi yuktahi. That means by engaging in the devotional service. Phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Manishinaha means great sages, or it is referring to the pure devotees. Phalam tyaktva means giving up the results of the work, giving up the results of the work to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By doing that, what happens? Janma bandha vinir muktaha. Means janma bandha means bandha means some kind of what do you say, chain, right? Some kind of bondage. So birth, etc., kind of a bondage. Vinir muktaha. They will get freed from this bondage of material existence. And what happens? Last line. Padam gacchanti anamayam. Means they will go back to Godhead, right? They'll go back to that world, which is anamayam, right? Which is not like the material world, right? Which is they'll go back to God. So very nice verse here. So I'm going to explain this a little bit here. So what's been explained here is, yeah, Prabhu, you can, stop sharing if you want. So basically, there are two types of worlds. Okay. One is called as the material world, and one is called as the spiritual world. Okay. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Parastasmat tu bhava anyat vyakto vyaktaha sanatanaha. Right? So that means that yet there is another unmanifest nature. I mean, whatever we are seeing, right? Material world, we are seeing Bangalore, Hyderabad, right? India, whatever we are seeing here is the material world, right? Beyond this material world, there is another world called as the spiritual world. Okay. That is the differences there. There's one basic difference between this world and that world. Okay. That is, those people who are staying in that spiritual world, they are not subject to material miseries. Means they don't suffer, basically. Right? Similarly, there are two types of people. One is called as fallible, another is called as infallible. Like it is also explained in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, there are two types of people. One are called as the eternally liberated souls, or Nitya Siddha. Another type is called as eternally conditioned souls, or called as the Nitya Baddha. Two types of living entities. I mean, what is our position? So we saw two types of worlds, material world and spiritual world. We saw two types of living entities. What we say, Nitya Baddha, eternally liberated and eternally conditioned. So what are we and where are we staying? Try to understand. It's just like, 4 quadrants. What are we and where are we staying? 4 combinations can be made out of this, right? We are eternally conditioned souls staying in the material world. The opposite quadrant is eternally liberated souls staying in the spiritual world, right? So, there's a company called SpaceX, right? There's a very famous person called Elon Musk, right? Is very famous, and he's I think he's one of the world's richest people. Maybe he's number 1 also, somewhere very near to the list. So his company ultimate aim is to make life multiplanetary. Means they want to say that, let the life be, for example, in let some people, if they want to stay, let them stay in the moon. If some people, if they want to stay in Mars, they can stay in Mars. So they will make arrangements for you to stay in moon or Mars or other planets where you can stay, right? But now if you actually think about it, in the vision of knowledge that Krishna is giving here, Lord is Krishna saying that the material world is full of suffering. So material world includes all the planets, not only moon planet, not only Mars planet, but also Brahmaloka to Patalaloka to Brahmaloka. They're basically, it's a defective kind of a thing. What is the defect? There are 4 kinds of suffering that can happen in this. What is that 4 type of suffering? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Means birth, birth, disease, birth, old age, death, and disease. Birth, death, old age, and disease. These are the 4 problems. So actually only ignorant people will think that going to a moon is a solution. But okay, let us say we go to the moon and we are staying in the moon. Now, can we escape from diseases? I mean, are the astronauts not having any diseases as soon as are they going into the space? Let us say one astronaut has diabetes. Let us say. As soon as he's going into the space, is his diabetes getting cured? Or he's getting cured of all his diseases and is becoming completely disease-free? No. Then or is the aging getting stopped? That if we go and stay in the moon, we don't get age, we don't get old age, we will be young forever. Is that happening? No. Right? Or is death can be stopped? That can we say that, the astronauts, they don't die. There is no death in the moon planet. There is no death in space. No. Then birth. After death, can somebody stop birth by going to this moon planet, by going on a space mission? No. Then what is the problem that is getting solved? Right? Actually, there's no problem that is getting solved. Simply, we are going from one place to another. Just like, I'm staying in one place. I get very frustrated with this place. I feel this is not nice. And I go to another place. And then the frustration starts again after some time. It's the same thing. In some other form it comes. Right? So material world is full of miseries. Right? So, but Krishna is giving information in Bhagavad Gita that there is another type of world called as Vaikunta. Kunta means anxiety. Right? And Vaikunta means without anxiety. That spiritual world, what Krishna is telling here, Padam Gachanti Anamayam, right? You'll go back to Godhead, that is Vaikunta planet. There is no anxiety at all. Absolutely no anxiety. It's described in Srimad Bhagavatam that it is the Vaikunta planet. One of the description is Akhanda Utsavam. Akhanda Utsavam means every day there is an event. Every day there is a festival. Every day there is celebration. Every day there is happiness. Right? Anandambudhi Vardhanam. The ocean of bliss is increasing. Right? So already, the people are so blissful, and people there are not materialistic. The nature of the people there is that They are the Nitya Siddhas, are eternally liberated souls. And what do they do there? Are they fighting? No, they don't fight. Or do they kind of engage in time pass activities, sense gratification, movies? No, they don't do that. Then what is the activity that they're doing? The only activity that they do is that they are glorifying the Supreme Personality of God. Right? They are worshipping. They are all serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that means that if you want to make your life successful, then you must try to understand Krishna. If you try to understand Krishna, if you try to understand this basic point, that this world is full of suffering. And if I serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, by engaging in his loving devotional service, I can go back to Godhead. That will end all the miseries. Actually, this is the real solution that we need to understand. Right? This is the real solution that we need to understand. Okay. So actually, the point given here is that by engaging in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can go back to Godhead. Right? To engage in devotional service, we must know what is my position, what is the position of Krishna, isn't it? If you have to serve somebody, you should know who are you and who is your boss. If you don't know who are you and who is your boss, if you think that you are the boss and your boss is your subordinate, you cannot serve him, is it not? Let's say you go to office and you don't know who is your subordinate, who is your manager, and you think that your manager is your subordinate and your subordinate is your manager, is it not ignorance? Right? Or if you think that your manager is equal to you, that is also ignorance. That is also a mistake. So here Krishna is telling, by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can go back to Godhead. That is to the spiritual world where there is no suffering. But the monist people are telling that they are equal to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this kind of knowledge is not knowledge. If we think that I'm equal to God, then how can I serve God? I mean, the solution given here is to serve God submissively, to come to our constitutional position as a servant and then serve. If I am mistakenly thinking that Krishna is equal to me, then it is not possible to serve him. Then that is not called knowledge. That is called as ignorance. So let us all try to understand what is our position. First, our position is that we are the Nitya Baddha, eternally conditioned souls. And there are some people who are more in population, who are Nitya Siddhas, who are those people who are eternally liberated in the Vaikuntha planet. They are there right now. They're serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead always. Now we can go to that place and we can become eternally liberated. We can become liberated by doing this devotional service, by understanding, first of all, who am I? What is my position? That I am suffering here. Why am I suffering? What is the solution for this problem? That's it. If we understand this simple single verse, we have understood Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Any questions you can ask? Hare Krishna. Yes, I hope my... Yeah, Hare Krishna. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. One second.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Dhanavad pranam.